Hey, Jacob Walton here. So this is going to be my first pitch, and it's going to be Jigsaw 2. Now, I really wanted to see a sequel to Jigsaw. The movie came out in 2017. I just want to get my first thoughts on that film in general. I liked it. I liked Jigsaw. I know people are really divided about that film, and the people that really talk about it, it goes into two categories. Either they really like it and they think it's fine, it's an acceptable Saw sequel, or they really hate it. I'm actually on the fence where I kind of like it. I like the direction, I like the idea, I like the new characters they introduce, actually, because, yeah, as people say, bland and stuff like that, but no, they actually were very smart, and they wrote them to where, they kind of leave you wanting a little bit more. They're not too vague and too boring enough to where they're, right off and passable and stuff like that. But they actually do manage to give your attention and your background. I think most of that credit goes to Matt Passmore as Logan and Haley Anderson as Eleanor. And even Clay Bennett as Keith Hunt, for example, could be an example one right there. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed Jigsaw. So my next pitch idea for SAW-TOBER will be Jigsaw 2. So what do I want to see in Jigsaw 2? Well, like most Saw films, I want to see it happen exactly like the moment where the last film leads off. So let's go back casting who I would see in this movie first. We'll go back to where I was talking about earlier about where it'll leave off. Let's bring back Tobin. Obviously, Tobin's going to be back, and the only way he's going to be back in this film is through flashbacks. And we get to see more action between him and Logan. I want to see that, but also I want to see Shawnee Smith and Costas Mandylor come back, and they both said in past they will gladly come back if it's the right idea for the story and their characters and stuff like that. And I kind of want to see an interaction between, Logan and Amanda, Logan and Hoffman. And more interaction between, Tobin and Shawnee, Tobin and Costas. And I want to see that again. So I'll talk about what I want to do with them now, Stretch. Obviously, I want to bring back Matt Passmore and Hannah Emily Anderson and Clay Bennett all back. But another character I want to bring back, I want to bring back Detective Fisk. So bring him back if you can, if the actor just doesn't want him to come back. But I kind of want to see him come back as like a nod to the past Saw films on top of that. I don't want to see any characters from Spiral just yet, so I just want to see, that core group. So if they bring back any past characters, bring back those. Don't bring back Dr. Gordon, at least not yet. So more on that later. But don't bring back Dr. Gordon. But I just want to see, Hoffman, Amanda, John, Logan, Eleanor, Keith, and Logan. That's all I want to see back for this film franchise. So what would I do? What's the story? Well, like I said, going back, I want to see the film, open as soon as the last one takes off. Like, I want to see, what happens as soon as, Logan kills Halloran. So basically what I would do is this. We see that Eleanor gets picked up by a truck. We don't know who's in that truck. A lot of people like it to be Mark Hoffman or Dr. Gordon or whoever. It's none of them. It's just your typical standard bypass guy. Or is he? More on that later. But Eleanor would just turn around, and then as soon as she turns around and take one good look at the barn just explodes and blows up. One of the issues I have with Jigsaw is, obviously the people are going to find the barn, discover like all the bodies and stuff like that. How are they not going to hide, Halloran? So one thing Logan could do is he could just like blow up the barn, just like blow it up. Saw movie, they could spend money on blowing up a barn. Should be what, $1 million to do that? I know they're low budget, but yeah, just go ahead and blow up the barn. Have a field day, have some fun. And then as soon as the barn blows up, boom, Eleanor's kidnapped by a pig mask, along with the driver that picked her up. And so she wakes up, and then we find out it's her and 3 other people from her Jigsaw Rules website, because that's one of the things that was touched on the movie Jigsaw. So it's her friends from JigsawRules.com, you can come up with some side characters and stuff like that. So there's 3 people, along with the driver that was kidnapped with her. But then she wakes up alongside a cage out in the open, and she sees Logan there with her. And so it kind of makes sense, because she would think, Halloran's still behind all this. He hit Logan in the head. Logan can still be selling, he's woozy and stuff like that. And so Logan can pretend, he got knocked out by Halloran, and he wakes up along with them. So all 6 people wake up, and then we see Billy the Puppet on screen. And they're actually out in a cage, and in the ground beneath them is an underground tunnel. And inside this tunnel, Billy the Puppet comes on screen and says, you 6 have chosen to carry out my life's work. And so Jigsaw's giving those 6 people a chance to play a game and survive 4 tests. If they can survive 4 tests, then at the end of that test, there is a box containing the will of Jigsaw. It has a list of all his works, his traps, his ideas, his philosophy. Jigsaw's will is left, and if you win this game right here, if you choose to play it and you survive the 4 tests, then you will get access to John Kramer's work. So obviously, the 3 Jigsaw rules people will jump on board. They want to get on in. They want to do this. So they go into the tunnel. Eleanor looks at Logan and she tried to convince him. And Logan, very subtly sells that he kind of is not interested. But reluctantly, he chooses to go with Eleanor. Now, what about the driver? The driver decides, you know what, I want nothing to do with this. I'm out. I leave. Obviously, there's a 60-second timer. And so it's like one of those underground, submarine doors that you seal. They go in the tunnel where at the end of 1 minute, it just closes, it automatically seals and latches, and it's aired, sealed tight. So once you're in, you can't get out. If you choose not to go in, the door's locked, too bad, you lost your chance to go in there and try to play the game. It's going to be like SAW 5, kind of like this tunnels in SAW 5, where the people go down tunnels and then it's sealed, they go into the next room, and they play a game in a trap. So it's kind of mimic that style game. So the way the stuff is filmed, it's filmed just like SAW 5. So Logan and the 4 Jigsaw rules people with Eleanor go in there. So there's 5 people playing the game. So the driver leaves and makes a phone call to Keith. Keith then suddenly declares, Halloran, Eleanor, and Logan all missing. And we bring back Detective Fisk. Fisk is back, and we find out Fisk is currently the new captain of the Metro PD. At least one of the areas. Not like Angie Garza. Angie Garza was captain of the Metro South. Let's say, it's the same Metro PD that Hoffman worked for, as we saw in the previous SAW entries. So Fisk is back, and he's now a captain. And so Fisk can provide background information on what's happened, since then. We find out, obviously, Amanda's dead. Hoffman's indisposed right now, so they know Hoffman's not involved. We'll get to why in a little bit. And John Kramer's dead, but they're freaking out about, Jigsaw's body being missing and stuff like that. So essentially, Keith's working with Fisk, trying to go through ideas and trying to figure out the location, how to break in this sealed tunnel. So essentially, the police are set outside the tunnels. It's underground. They can't get in. But there's dozens of cops still outside, and then Keith's interacting with Logan and Eleanor on the inside. And so basically, the Jigsaw rules. Oh, I forgot to mention this. The Jigsaw rules people have cameras with them, so obviously the equipment was left with them. So obviously they're going to be broadcasting the games, and of course you can have them geeking out, fanboying out, recording all the stuff, and then that's how Keith and Hunt interact with Logan and Eleanor. They're watching JigsawRules.com online, and millions of people are watching this online as, the people inside are filming the game, going through traps and stuff, showing people what's going on. So it's tracking views on the website and stuff like that. And that's how, the cult followers come back. And we see throughout them, even millions of people are watching this online. It's because, it's crazy. People want to see a live Jigsaw game interact. So what else goes on is this. We could see Logan and Eleanor interact with each other more. And they kind of grow a little bit more close in a way. Logan and Elle, there was that sexual tension they had in Jigsaw. So you kind of play on that, but we kind of know since Logan is working with Jigsaw, he kind of plays off Eleanor. He's kind of using her to get through this game. And as these games are played, here's where the flashbacks come in with John Kramer, Amanda Young, and Mark Hoffman. We actually find out that we go back and we watch the 4 of them build this trap together. All 4 of them are building the traps. So before these 5 people walk into the room, we cut back to a flashback of Logan, Hoffman, Amanda building traps, working for John as they're stringing it together and get ready for this game. And that's when they all can interact with each other. We could have, Logan interact with Amanda, Logan interact with Hoffman, Hoffman and Amanda can interact with each other and stuff like that. And then as they're building a trap, as soon as the trap is done, built, and they explain what happens, then we cut to the actual game going on. And we got to see if any of those 5 people can survive that game. Obviously, Logan knows where to go, what not to go, what to do, and stuff like that, but he kind of plays along. And then with each trap, each member of the Jigsaw Rules website, they get axed off. They die, they die, they die. And so finally, we get to nothing but Eleanor and Logan who are left. And there's one more test left. And then we go through that test and we cut back to the flashback. Now, I want to go back to the guy I talked about again who picked up Eleanor. It turns out, in the flashback, we walk through and this whole time we don't know where's John because it's just Hoffman, Logan and Amanda building these 3 traps, and they're all interacting with each other. But John's kind of noticeably absent through this. Maybe he's talking to him along the side and stuff like that. We get to the 4th room, and we find that John is testing somebody in that room while a test is going on. We find out, actually, it's the guy that picked up Eleanor. We'll call him Dex. It's the guy that picked up Eleanor in the trap, in the car, that he's being tested all those years ago via flashback. And Logan knows this guy. Logan knows it's the guy in the military from him in Fallujah. During the whole flashback scenes, we could talk about, Logan's time in Fallujah, how he got tortured and stuff like that. And he hits that there was this one guy named Dex who saved his life and got him out. And we get to that room, and we see firsthand, John is testing the guy who saved Logan's life in Fallujah. And so Logan immediately breaks in, stops the trap, and saves Dex's life in the middle of the trap. And Dex has no idea what's going on. Hoffman and Amanda are just dumbfounded by Logan, and John interacts with him, and then Logan and John, they can butt heads and go at each other. And essentially, Logan is given the choice to walk out and leave. And so, because of this scenario right there, Logan decides, I'm done. I'm out. I want nothing to do with you, John, anymore. Because we can tease back in the past how John and Logan mentor each other, stuff like that, but this is the thing that set, Logan off the deep end and stuff like that. So, Logan saving this guy's life and leaving kind of excommunicates him with Jigsaw. And so, this guy who was in the military with Logan is actually loyal to Logan. He's not loyal to Jigsaw. So Dex is still working for Logan, and he lures both Fisk and Hunt away from the area that Logan and Eleanor are at, underground tunnel, and basically he takes them to where the police believe John Kramer's body is at, or just takes them to where they believe John Kramer is. Some people believe he's dead, some people believe he could be alive. And so they walk in, and I don't know, they open a casket, and there is Billy the puppet. And so Fisk makes his way to the casket to pick it up, to figure out if there's any clues, something like that. Out of nowhere, a giant bomb goes off and kills dozens of police officers, Fisk included. So sorry, we bring back Fisk just to kill him. I know, I'm sorry, guys. But, so we bring back Fisk, and then the only one that survives the explosion is Keith. Keith still survives. But then he gets up and he goes back to the tunnels, and he realizes that there's a way to get in the tunnels now. So he goes in, he's going to go in, he's going to try to save his buddy, Logan. But then we get to the final game, and then, so basically it's a game of ultimate sacrifice, just trying to get to John's work, and it's just down to Eleanor or Logan. And then Eleanor decides to make the ultimate sacrifice, and she loses her arm. Like, Eleanor gets her arm literally chopped off in a trap, trying to make a sacrifice. And then Logan decides to take the work and leave Eleanor for dead, but then she's still stuck in this little trap device, and then she's going to bleed out and die. But Logan, that's the one twist of the film. Logan decides he can't let Eleanor die. She's gone through all that trouble, and then during the whole time they interact with each other, they kind of grow close, and he kind of feels like, maybe she can, contribute to helping me along the way. She's built traps. She seems to like Jigsaw's philosophy. We get into Eleanor's background as to why she's a fan of Jigsaw. We can say idea like, I had for her is, she's 16 years old and she just grew up in an abusive household, but then she kind of found camaraderie online with the Jigsaw Rules website, and, she understands, she wishes she could be like John Kramer and test people and help people out the way, and his work, is like a masterpiece and stuff like that, and how she wished she could use his work to test people that wronged her and wronged people in the wrong way. And Logan kind of admires that about her. So when she goes through that trap and loses her arm, and he reveals to Eleanor that he's working with Jigsaw the whole time, he decides to go back and actually saves Eleanor. So he goes in there, he gets her out of the trap, he puts a tourniquet on her arm before she can bleed out. And then we see Dax go back, and then Dax is pissed off at Logan that, they revealed their secret to the world, and Dax wants to try and kill Eleanor before she ruins everything, and Logan and him fight, and then Logan ends up killing Dax, and so Dax ends up dying, and then Logan, picks up Eleanor and saves her, but then Eleanor immediately, gets the box because she earned the right, and inside the box is an envelope, and that's it. There's no books, no nothing, no tapes. It's just an envelope. So she picks it up and takes it with an arm and clucks it close to her chest. Logan picks her up and carry out of the tunnel. You can have like a slow Hello Zep version play. And then as soon as Logan gets out of the tunnel, he locks eyes with Keith. And Keith, because he survived, knows Logan's working with Jigsaw. So Logan doesn't care. You know, he saved Eleanor's life. He turns himself in. And then Keith arrests Logan, and that's how the film ends. But there's 3 ways you could turn this film and go into 3 different pitches, which I will cover next. Pitch idea number 1. You could say Hoffman is alive. You could say Hoffman is alive, he escaped the bathroom, and he gets word that Jigsaw is back. And he knows automatically there's only one person left that could have done this. And that is Logan. Why not Dr. Gordon? I'll get to that pitch later on. Direction number 2. We see Dr. Gordon is aware of this. And we see his reaction to Logan being away. And so that pitch idea can go off to another direction. Or option number 3. We see online, we see William Shank, Max Minghella. He's looking at this online and knows what's going on and inspires him to go off at his thing for spirals. So there's 3 ways you can do this. There's 3 different pitch ideas. I have ideas for all 3. If you want to hear those ideas, well, stay tuned for this video series right here. And that's what I want to see in the next Jigsaw pitch. So hope you like this idea. I intend to make a SAW subscription with this idea, but we'll just go on from there. So hope you like this. This is my idea for Jigsaw 2, the next Saw sequel. And stay tuned for my other videos. Take care, guys.